Hey everyone, it's Rod here. Welcome to Stay Strong. Man, I did stuff that up. Stay Strong, Live Long. It's 9 a.m. in Sydney, in Australia, on Tuesday morning, and we've got some very special guests today. We've got G and Fred Brown from the Hanging with the Browns channel. Been really looking forward to this conversation. I'm going to bring them in right now. Hey guys.
Hey,
Hey,
look.
hey.
Hey, Australia.
So it's what did you say? What's 6 p.m. over there?
Yes.
Yes, 6
All
p.m.
right.
Monday.
I listened
And
to
yeah, that's
your last, I think it was your last live. It was early in the morning, and someone chimed in from South Carolina, and you said how you like the name. Well, I'm in North Carolina, so hopefully you like that name too.
yeah. There's just something about Carolina. Maybe it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz or something like that. It's
Oh
just got a nice
Lord.
it's got a nice ring to it. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. Now we are going to do a few shout outs, but what I always like people to do is, because I'm in Australia and generally most guests and other people are in other parts of the world, just let us know in the comments where you are from, which part of the world you are from, and we'll do some shout outs a little bit later on today. But just so that we can get to know the Browns a little better, why don't you guys give us a little bit about your background and how you came to be on this crazy carnivore journey with the rest of us?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I'm Frederick Brown. And we introduce ourselves on our channel as I'm the husband. She's the lifestyle changer, but I'm the husband.
Are you?
Kind of
We'll,
your
we'll, we'll, we'll
sidekick.
we'll do our thing.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is G Brown, G Brown, the lifestyle changer, and this is.
Frederick Brown, the husband,
And you've tuned into
hanging
Hanging
with
with
the
the Browns.
Browns.
Now go
Yeah,
right ahead,
that's
baby.
our intro.
How did you drag me into
Oh,
this?
I didn't drag you. You dragged me. So you dragged me. I've always been a connoisseur, if you will, of YouTube, and
Oh, I thought you was gonna say a
I've
food.
always been uh, the recipient of all of the great ideas and tools and whatnot that are posted on YouTube. And my wife, she just like, okay, we got to do a YouTube channel. We got to do a YouTube channel. And I fought and I kicked for many, many years. And when we started on this carnivore journey, I was like, okay, I'm in. I think we need to do this, right? But it all started for me with um, me going through a bout with inflammation. And I had a severe case of inflammation. If you visit our channel, there's some uh, episodes that we put together where my wife had actually captured me trying to uh, go to the restroom one night, and I was actually using my mother-in-law's walker. So I was going back and forth between a cane and a walker, and suffering from inflammation in both ankles at the same time. I mean, it was really debilitating, and found myself uh, visiting a rheumatologist here, and he pretty much scratching his head, not knowing what was really going on, going through a series of blood work, trying to figure out what type of inflammation or what type of form of arthritis that I was actually experiencing. And, he never could figure it out, but in the meantime, it's costing me time, it's costing me money, in pain medications, trying this, trying that, all kinds of side effects. And one day I just looked at my wife. 3 months later, I just looked at my wife and said, "This got to be a better way. This is just not the quality of life that I was looking for." And so I took it upon myself to try and figure this thing out. So prior to the carnivore, 1 month prior to carnivore, I actually started an elimination diet, and I had eliminated everything from my diet except for chicken Caesar salad, and that's something that I ate, you know, 3 times a day. Chicken Caesar salad. I mean, it gets old very quickly, and it did. But I was still determined to try and figure out what was going on. And even while I was eating that chicken Caesar salad, I was still having inflammation in my ankles. I was still, limping. I was still not 100%. And May
Did you
26th,
have a lot of spinach in your chicken Caesar salad? Like, was a lot of green leafy stuff?
no, it was
No, he could only
romaine
have
lettuce,
romaine
only
lettuce.
romaine lettuce.
Oh, okay.
It was,
Yeah.
Anything else
yeah,
was setting him off.
yeah.
And
But
so,
Right.
unbeknown to me, I think what was really setting me off was probably the dressing more than anything.
Yeah.
And I really didn't read the ingredients at the time. We weren't where we are now, where I was really looking at ingredients the way that we look at it now.
you were looking
But
at taste.
yeah, I was just pretty much going with taste. But it was still setting me off. And I'm pretty sure if I go back and read the ingredients, which I haven't because you know, I haven't eaten any of it since, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of sugar in it or some form of sugar, which is pretty much the cause of my inflammation. So,
Yeah.
my brother-in-law came and he had been introduced to the carnivore diet. And he started talking to me on that day about it. And I kind of perked up because I was so sick and tired of chicken Caesar salad. I was excited about being able to eat some real food. I was excited about being able to eat eggs again, bacon, steaks. So that really caught my attention. And that was I started on that day in May 26th, and that's what really got me. And then my lovely wife,
Hold on. Hey, Carrie.
Carrie.
Frederick. No, Carrie. He was
Oh,
just
Oh, there
had a
was a
question
question
up
there
there.
from Kerry. If you'd throw that up for us,
Yeah.
Okay.
Melissa.
So,
By the way,
really
Melissa's
quick,
right in the background doing moderation for us. Thank you.
last week, he did a 36-hour fast. And tomorrow, we both are. Now, the goal is 5 days. If I do 3, I succeeded. So I saw him saying that. And I'm starting one tomorrow because I'm actually going to the doctor. I found a knot under my arm, so
Yeah.
I'm going to water.
And it's interesting because I actually fasted last week, Carrie, 2 days. And so this week, I decided that I would go ahead and fast with my wife, which is something she wanted to do because I didn't want to, tempt her cooking steak in the house while she's fasting. So I said, okay, I'll
Yeah.
fast with you again. So I'm going to
Yeah.
do it
So
again.
48 hours.
I did
Yeah.
say
Can I
36.
just
It
say,
was 48.
so sorry,
Good.
you guys look great. Fred, you're pretty much ripped, man. Do you mind me asking how old you guys are?
Oh, I love telling my age.
Oh, yeah.
In December,
So do I.
he'll be
In
60.
2 months, I'll be 60.
60.
And
Oh,
July, I'll be 60. This is our road to 60.
Yeah.
Oh, I
holy
love
cow.
telling I
Yeah,
love
you
telling
guys look
my
amazing.
age. Even when I was big, I would tell you how much I weigh. I ate it and I wasn't shamed.
Good
Yeah,
for you.
that's
Yeah.
always
And we
the
feel good. I mean,
numbers
I've
don't.
never felt better before in my life, even as a young man. I've never felt better. So,
Yeah.
it's great. Life is good.
Well, I was
Uh,
vegan. Hey, I was vegan and I was watching him eat the meat, and I was like, oh, now we do every diet pretty much. I don't think I've done a diet without you.
No, I've been
Uh,
there right with you.
yep, he's been right there with me. Hi.
Carnivore Leo,
Um,
hey.
yes.
Oh,
And
Rhonda.
but then I was looking at him eat that meat, and I said, I don't know if I'm going to do this one with you. And my brother kept talking about how great he feels. My husband had this huge Kool-Aid smile on his face because his first meal was like six or
Scrambled
six
eggs,
to
yeah.
eight strips of bacon. My brother he wanted his scrambled, but my brother wanted his over meat easy or something. And it was like the dozen of eggs, and they split that, and then they both had rib eyes. And Fred, I took a picture of him too. And he had a big Kool-Aid smile on his face. And I was doing this. I was like, I don't think that I can eat meat. I just don't think I can do it. Well, that was that Friday. Saturday, I'm looking at him and he's ready to go and cook again. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. So then I said, okay, I tell you what, I will try it with you. I'll try it. But I didn't want beef. As a matter of fact, sometimes I still don't like the after smell of beef. I don't know. I'm tired of it or something. the tallow portion of it. So I said, I'll do some lamb chops. I'll do that. So he went straight to the store, got me some lamb chops, and I salted them up with some butter in that cast iron skillet. I cooked the whole pack, and I think I ate 4 or 5 of them, and I was like, okay. So later on, we're in the bed. I looked at him and said, I want some more lamb chops. I ate the whole pack in that same day. I ate the whole pack. And it still took me a moment before I went over to beef. And once again, I don't know. Yeah. So now he's a lion and I'm a lioness, but I think lioness eat whatever they want.
So you just do just you're lion, so you're meat only, are you, Fred?
Meat
And
only.
salt.
Meat, salt, and water. Yes.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
Meat,
cool.
salt, and water. That is it. For me, I
Hey,
will
Annabella.
I will I'll cook some ribs on the grill. I like charcoal cooking out, and I smoked a brisket. It's a lot of different things that I'll do, but it's some that he wants. So I'll cook it, have some, then I also freeze it. And then if I want it again, I just pull it out.
Yeah, cool. All right, I
But
just
we're
want to do
in
a couple
this
of
now.
Yeah, you guys are. I got more questions for you. And so if anyone's got any questions from the audience, then just throw up a queue and we'll pick that up in the comments. I just want to do a couple of shout outs. Shayna Haynes, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're always here. I've seen a couple of others that I might have missed. I assume it's so that Kerry from Homestead Health, thanks for joining us here today. It's quite an honor. Rhonda, great to have you with us today. I'm just going to run through a few of the others that I recognized there.
Wait a minute, I have a question for Rhonda. Rhonda, we're
Yeah.
still waiting on that video your husband was supposed to edit. I keep seeing your shorts. Tell your husband, the Brown said, get in there and edit that video so we can watch it. They did
He's
an
just got-
interview with each other, and he was saying something, I'm gonna do it. And we've been waiting for the longer video. We keep seeing her do her shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let him
that's
know
like
we know we holding him accountable.
Yeah, that's a content creator trick. That one is the shorts are like fillers when you didn't sort of meet your commitments for your longer form video. D Lee, thanks for joining us here today. Amy, appreciate you joining us here as well. Susan Hampton, thank you so much. Susan's on every channel, and she's such a great supporter. Plum, this looks like one of your people.
Yes,
Thanks
she
for-
is. She knew I was looking for her last time. On my last live I did, and I was like, where is she? I love her. She's been with me since the beginning. She's like a trio now.
Yeah, cool. Red Pill Carnivore, thanks for joining us. First time I've seen you on this live stream, if I recall correctly. Amy, yeah, alternate day fasting. Wow, that's interesting. Alternate day fasting for about 6 months. Switch to carnivore, do roughly, yeah. I do the same. That's how I roll as far as fasting goes. I'm not a massive fan of, I just love to eat. So, not going without food for a couple of days doesn't really hold any appeal for me, but I could happily do the intermittent fasting. So I generally start at about 1 o'clock and then finish at like 6:30. That's my usual.
See, that's the
daily
same thing, Rod, for us, the intermittent fasting. But Frederick just eats once a day. It's like around 2-ish, and that's it.
That's
Because
a big meal.
I don't think you had acid reflux on your list. He suffered with that. And I said, okay, I don't think 5 o'clock and a steak will, and I don't think acid reflux will bother him anymore. But so that 2 o'clock. But for me, I have to eat more because about 12 years ago, I had the gastric sleeve, and where they cut my stomach, my intestines and stuff is still intact, but no one remembers me small because I never got small. So just because you get that surgery doesn't mean that, you'll lose some pounds, but now I suffer with, for instance, when we go on this fast, I know there's some tablets that I have to take because when I don't eat small meals often, that acid gets to churning and it'll spew up, all because my stomach was cut. So yeah,
Yeah.
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 If I would have known about carnivore, I would have been a carnivore starting 12 years ago. Most definitely.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is, I mean, there's other people that may have had that similar operation, so now they've got, they know that it's doable for them because it's been doable for you. So I suppose there's
Well,
that
then too,
aspect.
we have a show. I have a couple of shows up where I say, if you're thinking about the gastric, watch this first, is because I went through, when you go for the orientation, they have people there that have had the surgery, and all you're looking at is those people are smaller now. They don't have the ones that gained the weight back. They don't have them up there now. They only have the ones that kept some of the weight off. And so you see that, and then here you are, swollen the seat, and then you're looking, and it's like, okay, you did it. And so this is doable. But if you're still eating the wrong foods, because I didn't have high blood pressure when I was big, but I developed high blood pressure after the surgery. And I said, y'all talked about getting rid of it and gave me high blood pressure. So I experienced a lot. I said, now have me there and I'll tell y'all. But they wouldn't end up with any money for the surgeries because the people would actually leave. I let them know, if you do this, you won't have to do that. And your body will stay intact. Yeah.
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 So Plum says he went lion because of you, Fred. So
Yeah. All right.
well done. That's great. Annabella the Happy Carnivore. Off to see a dietitian today. Nearly crying tears of joy. I love that. Last time I saw him, I had chest pain from starving myself. That's great. Anna's had quite a journey with, I suppose, anorexia and starving herself to maintain her weight. And she's found she's definitely healing for sure. And Carnivore has given her a framework that allows her to actually properly feed herself, which is really, really great.
Oh,
hear.
yeah.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Laura Russell, thanks for joining us. Love that
Yes,
prodigious
that's my
use of
sweetie pie.
steaks
Hey,
there.
Laura. Now, let me tell you, anybody for Eat to Your Health with Carnivore, she is a nurse. And I didn't know until Laura that you could can meat. So it's called cold packing. I didn't know
Yeah,
this. I
yeah.
always see
Preppers do it.
people, do tomatoes and green beans and jellies. And so that's where I learned that from. And she does some great content. She comes from a nurse's heart. So yeah, I enjoy her so much.
All right, we'll definitely go and check out her channel, peeps, if you haven't already. Rhonda says that Mel said he will have the video done on Tuesday. So
Tell him I
he's
am
got his,
Tuesday tomorrow. Yeah, I tell him
he's
I'm
got his
holding
marching
it.
orders.
Yep. I tell Mel we are looking. I'm getting up first thing in the morning looking for his video.
And Amy, so the Amy was talking about the alternate day fasting. So yeah, you dropped 18 pounds, ultimately slowed your metabolism down. Yeah, I guess that can happen as well. It's I've often heard people say that I think it was Lily Kane and Lily. I'm interviewing Lily Kane tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. But I know that she was saying, as part of the health coaching that she does, that more often than not, people when they switch to carnivore, they actually are not eating enough. That's the issue, because it's so satiating, and that can slow down their metabolism. And I guess that you can exacerbate that further when you're switching with alternative
And also,
alternate
Rod,
fasting.
I think it might be a combination of them not really understanding to eat to satiety. So
Oh yeah,
they're thinking maybe I'm eating too much food when they're really not. So I think that's
yeah,
part of it as well.
yeah. That was when
For
I first
me,
started. I couldn't figure it out. Sorry, you go on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my story after you.
okay, for me, this fast, so in my mind, this only works for G. In my mind, I'm going to the doctor because of this. I guess it's a cyst or something. I don't know, up under my arm. And I believe that our bodies are wonderfully made. So as I fast, that my body is, yeah, you'll get into that starvation type, slow the metabolism down, but my body is going to feed on the bad cells first. And that's what I believe. Now, for me, was that you touching me?
No,
Telling me be quiet?
no. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. He got little signals for me. um, but for me, I know that my metabolism has slowed down a little because uh, of my nails and my hair. And what I mean by that is that I grow nails. I used to always joke I can grow thighs and nails with no problem. But my right hand, for some reason, my nails keep chipping. And then I told Rod I have a hat on because I need a haircut. But I normally need a cut like every 7 to 10 days. This has been like 3 weeks now. And I kept touching, and I was like, man, my hair is not growing. So what happens when your metabolism slows down, nails and hair, they're not vital. That's I mean, you can live, so the nutrients will get redirected somewhere else first. And so that's how I know that mine has slowed down some. And I told him, that's why I say I want to do 5. But if I reach 3, I know that's good for me. So we'll see.
Guys, I can hear an alarm going off in my background, so I'm going to go and attend to that. My next question was actually, you sort of started to get into some of the things that changed with your health, Fred, a bit earlier. Would you mind just telling us a little bit more about that? Because I think there's a lot of people who've got similar health conditions as to what you had that would like to know. And I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, the thing that really pushed me over the edge was back in December of 2022, December 8th. I'll never forget that day. That was the beginning of the the worst experience that I've had with inflammation, and that was having it in both feet at the same time. And that was the start of it. I mean, I've had inflammation since I was a child in my knees. I've had it in my back as a child, even when I played basketball in middle school and in high school. I had episodes where I couldn't dive on the floor for a ball because of my knees, or even doing practice I would stretch out because of my back. Now, it could have been some other stuff going on there that caused it, but inflammation was definitely the culprit. And so, it's always been a part of my life. And um, I will have to say, just fast forward to now with Carnivore, I no longer have those issues. I was issues I just described was when I was a teenager. So here I am now, 60 in 2 months, and I don't have those issues. I don't have the inflammation. My back doesn't hurt. I can do things that I got to be careful because I don't want to overdo it. I also have to realize I am 60. I'm still not 16, so I realize that. But my mobility is so much better. And the testosterone and all, yeah, and all that good stuff that goes into it.
So now it's your turn.
Yeah.
I think besides the walker, we talked about this because inside of our phones, we keep a log. So these are like my issues that I had.
All the symptoms.
Right. All of the symptoms, so from bursitis, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, my bulging disc, restless leg, UTI, sciatica, I had vertigo, carpal tunnel syndrome. And That's another thing. When I go to bed, I had to put those things because that's the time that it would bother me the most. I haven't had to wear them. High blood pressure. So the list goes on and on. Diverticulitis. So, but for him, before Carnivore, this is like we'll it's our 20-year anniversary next year as well. So I didn't realize my husband, when he would touch things around the house, the keyboard, we have little timers on our switches in the bathroom, 5 minute, 10 minutes. It's for the ventilation. So, you know, a lot of times you turn the exhaust fan on, you walk away, it'll run all day. Well, we have ours on timers. And so I would look, and the 10-minute is like rubbed off.
Radio buttons in the car.
The buttons in the car, the keyboard, it's like had a little dent. It was him. It was, his sweat was so acidic that if he started sweating and it got in his eyes, it would burn. And so that was a problem. His watch band, he had to constantly replace it. If he had his belt on and was cutting grass and he started sweating inside of the belt, I mean, he just like really tore up a lot of things. And
Wow.
so that was one. And then one day he woke up and he got up and said, "Gee, I can't see." And I'm like, "What do you mean you can't see?" He's like, "No, baby, I can't see you. It's like clouds in the room." All right. So I know if I call the ambulance, this is about your eyes. There's nobody there that can handle this. So I reached out to where we at the time were going for our eyes. I said, "Listen, my husband has to come in." And he literally couldn't see. So I got him in the car. We get over there, and the pressure in his eyes. And then they had said he has glaucoma. So they got the pressure down. Your sight came back. Now we're seeing specialists.
Yeah, I ended up going to Duke University, Duke Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. I went to an ophthalmologist, and
That specializes in
yeah,
glaucoma.
and he said I didn't have glaucoma, but what I did have was inflammation, and
And
he
he
didn't
didn't
know
know
where it
why.
came from. So, we're talking every 6 months, I'm having to travel to Duke Hospital to see the specialist and for him to examine and give me more, eye drops. We're talking like small little vials of drops, $125 a pop, you know. Um, so this went on for months. And
It turned his eye, the white of his eyes, yellow,
yep,
and then it started putting, I call it raccoon eyes. And he would look in the mirror, and it's like, this is ridiculous. But once again, they give you the medicine, but the medicine comes with side effects.
yep,
Mm.
yep. So
Yeah.
I ended up stopped doing that one as well. So we've had a host. I've had a host of issues, and I found myself sitting in front of a doctor, and I not being a doctor, I felt like you know well, shoot, if you don't know, I don't know, I might as well not pay you to keep coming. I can try to figure it out on my own. So I'm guessing just like you are. and
Yeah.
and that was the approach I took, until Carnivore, and then all of that stuff went away. And
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's
It's
another thing, Rod. Oh my God. It's um, never ever have I felt like this in the last 20 years, I know. 30 years. So when I listen to people, because you'll see it on your social media feed, and it's like, listen, it's in the food. I'm trying to tell you. I know it's hard for people to believe that we are living in a society that somebody knows that the food that they're feeding us in this mass production, but it's also harming us. And
Well, it's bigger than that. It's not that somebody knows; they all know. But as I said time and time again, it doesn't fit the business model.
right.
It's all about money. If you realize, that sugar is a $1 trillion plus industry, and that sugar is in practically everything we consume, whether it's some form of sugar. And once you realize that and understand that in order for these major corporations to make money, in order to have a sustainable business model, that you gotta keep having repeat customers, right? So if you provide a cure for something, then that person no longer needs your service, and whatever money that you made for them, that was it, right? They need a revolving door. They need you coming in, going out, and that is a sustainable business model. So it becomes about treating symptoms, not solving a problem.
I know, but you and I even talked about this earlier today, where we were saying you really can't be mad at some of the doctors because that's not what they were taught. You go to medical school to treat symptoms, not to cure. Your books are even written like that. It's not a lot of nutrition. Dr. Berry, I mean, they all talk about the fact of that, I wasn't taught that in school. No, you were taught if a person has the fever or this right here, this is the medicine that you give to treat. And this is what you have to treat that. What is it? 1987. I got the year now.
Yeah, but we're not going down that rabbit hole.
I know,
now,
but what I'm
saying,
we're
going to talk about that one later.
Right. Okay, so I'll switch it up. I look at in 2020. Now, this is just an example. There was something that went on across the world, and we came up with a vaccine. Cancer been around forever, but they had a vaccine in this amount of time to create, but we can't do that, reverse anything in regards to cancer.
It goes back to that sustainable business model.
I know.
Baby. That's what it's all about. Money.
Yes.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, it's often at the root of a lot of things, and I think that it's interesting when I hear people talking about sitting in front of their doctor and they're telling them what they're doing, and if the doctor's like not on board with the diet as an intervention that can cure just about any health issue, they're saying, well, this is going to be a problem for you, and then they come back in 6 months and they say, look, I'm even healthier now, and they're still in denial because of their training and what they've learned, and then they won't allow new evidence to replace what they already know. Not all doctors, obviously, but yeah, right. I think that's what's happening. And if you're in that situation, people often ask me, what should I do? And I say, well, you just got to find yourself. If you really want to have a doctor tell you how healthy you are, and I think you know yourself whether you're getting healthy, then you just got to find a doctor that's more in alignment with, just what's going on today instead of what was going on 10 years ago. Yeah. So I have actually, let's just see if we've got any other questions there. Laura Russell, thank you for joining us. I'm not sure what you mean by can butter too. Oh, you can can butter. I think that's what you meant when you were talking about canning meat. I didn't actually know that. How about that?
Yes, because she has some that she said like she's had for years. I'm telling you. If something happens, I'm finding Laura house.
That's
it.
Food is there. I'm starting to pay attention to what Bill Knott, do with his prepping and what he does, and it's kind of interesting. I think I used to think, well, that was a bit extreme, but from a point of view of some sort of natural disaster, especially like with what was happening with Bill with floods and whatnot, well, he was prepared. If he did get flooded out, he would have been sweet because of the fact that he was prepared. He's not thinking, well, there's going to be an invasion force coming that's going to take you with all their guns. It's things like that he's actually prepared for as well. Annabella, atypical anorexia. I didn't know that was the term, but that's great that you're not considered sick anymore. That's fantastic. So Rhonda's got a bit of a follow-up there.
He need a whole day tomorrow to get that. That video better be good, Mill. You hear me? I'll wait till Wednesday.
Amy, thanks for your prayers. Laura, enjoy fasting. Feel great when a clean house through autophagy. You fast 2 times a week. Yeah, I think if you enjoy fasting, it's great. It's for those who don't enjoy fasting, I will add that if you are eating a very low carbohydrate diet, so keto or carnivore, then that is a thing that's called fasting mimicking diet, and there's lots of peer-reviewed studies that have been done about this. So it as far as your body goes and autophagy and those things that which people want out of fasting, it does cause the body to activate those same mechanisms if you are doing intermittent fasting. So if you're doing an 8-16 or a 10-18, even if you just do that, it has many of the same benefits that you would have for doing a longer fast as well. So don't be discouraged if the idea of fasting for 24 or 48 hours just isn't your cup of tea. It's not something that
or do like I do. I actually do a 2:22. That's about it. I got a 2-hour window, and the rest of the time I'm not eating. So
yeah, that's true.
Eating till you satiate.
Yeah.
You must have a pretty substantial meal when you went. So what's your typical meal like for you then, Fred? What sort of quantity of food
Just a
you putting away?
ribeye. Actually, when I started, I ate more than what I do now. I know a couple of weeks ago, I was finding myself feeling a little more hungry, or finding myself hungrier. So I was eating 2 ribeyes, and they were.
Now, how big are the
well,
ribeyes? What do they weigh? They're like a pound, 2 pounds?
Typically, they're about 12 ounces or slightly less. So I'm a little
Okay,
bit,
so a little
yeah,
under a pound.
yeah. So about a pound and a half is what I was eating. But I'm not naturally a big guy. So 148 plus or minus 3 pounds is kind of
Oh,
where
okay.
I am.
Yeah,
Standing
yeah,
5'6". So that's about
yeah,
it. I think it's perfect for my height, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
And
yeah. I think if
normally, if he fixes steaks, I eat mine, but I can never finish it. So I just slide it on his plate and it don't go to waste.
yeah, so like a 12 ounce steak, so that's a little short of a pound. That's like a half. It's like in Australia, that's about 400 grams. Yeah, that would be a snack for me. But then I'm 6'1" and I weigh about 205. So I guess there's a
oh,
difference when
yeah.
more body mass to maintain.
But I
So
mean, I watched you a little bit too, so it looks like you work out. I don't work out, so I think if I worked
you
out, I would
don't?
probably eat more.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
probably eat
yeah,
more.
yeah. I do. I mean, not a lot, but yeah, every day I do something. So I go do a half-hour walk every day. I train with weights 2 times a week, so about 45 minutes each time, and then I do boxing the other days during the week. So that's generally between
Oh
15
man,
and
Oh
30
yeah,
minutes.
you
yeah,
need to. For
Yeah,
you
me,
need that.
last year, in January, no, April, it was 2022. I did this big post and everything of how I joined a gym and I got a trainer. When I started at the gym, I think I was 198 pounds. And I took my picture with my hand on my hip. I went to the gym 6 months straight, 7 days a week, and lost a whopping 10 pounds.
But that story's
I
taken out of context, though. You gotta understand the full picture, because she was coming home drinking wine and eating and drinking everything that she thought.
I did. Listen, that
yeah,
moderation word. So that's why when people say that, I'm like, oh, that's of the devil. Listen. So he was trying to tell me, and I'm looking at him and saying, I have a small stomach. I can eat a small amount of food and I'm going to be just fine. I just did all that work out where, I never went under an hour. It was closer to 2 hours at the gym, 7 days a week. What do you mean? And now I don't go to the gym at all and drop 40 something pounds.
Yeah.
But I do need to get out and walk. I keep saying that. But
yeah. Well, I'll say a bit about that because people often ask, and look, there's two things that you've got to do. You've got to make sure that you are consuming enough protein, because the biggest thing that's happening with the aging population is they're becoming frail and small, and their muscles are wasting away. So you can't do anything about reversing muscle wasting unless you're getting sufficient protein. So that's where carnivore is great. You're definitely going to be getting enough protein. And then you've got to use it or you'll lose it. So if you want the protein to be assimilated into your muscles, you've got to use them. You've got to cause that muscle growth to occur, and just find something that you can do regularly. So even if it's just walking, if you can walk for half an hour a day, that is weight bearing. It's causing downward pressure. You're moving all of your different muscles. Like, at least start there, because when you start with with something and it becomes a habit, it's easier to then transform it. It's the hard part is just getting it going, getting that momentum going. And then once you get to that point, then, you know, the older you get, the more important that it is that you do some sort of weight bearing exercise. And even if you just did air squats and some wall push-ups, if you did those a couple of times a week, you're 90% the way, and you're way ahead of what a lot of people are doing with their bodies. A lot of people, as they get older, they think they just being sedentary is just normal. It is absolutely not. And it will eventually catch up to you, I feel, if you don't. I like the idea of people being in their 80s and 90s and just being completely mobile, being able to do whatever they want, and their strength to be such that they can still pick up grandkids, great grandkids, you know, walk up hills, all that sort of thing. I think it's not till you can't do those things with your body that you go, oh, I wish I'd actually done more. But you can still start. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can still start.
You just motivated me, Rod.
I know. Wait a minute. I totally agree, because
That's my pep talk.
let me just say this,
Yeah.
because I say this all the time, and I say it to him. So I lost the weight, but you can't pick where it comes from. And when fat, it will replace that muscle, right? So then you start losing the fat. Dude, I lost my butt. It's just gone. So that's like one of the things that I talked to him, and it's like, oh, I have to build muscle back up. We were sitting on something. I was like, oh my God, how do you sit like this? Where's my cushion? I lost my cushion in my butt. So I know. Here's the thing. The way that you just said it, it's one of those where it's almost as if I know that this carnivore diet is good for you. And so me trying to talk with someone, it's like, listen, I'm telling you, this is really good for you. The way I just received how you said that while you were talking, I said, he sounds like someone on the carnivore diet trying to say the carnivore diet is good for you. And that's how I feel when I'm talking to someone else. So now you're saying, listen, you've done the carnivore, that's great, but you have to implement this as well, because you use it or you lose it. You get older, and yes, you are putting some great nutrients in, but you have to utilize that muscle as well. So that, babe, we got to. Well, you do push-ups and all. You do that part.
Not enough.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't gonna say nothing though.
Yeah, and you know what? You don't need to do much. A lot of people think that they need to do a lot, and you
need to do something.
You do, yeah, and
I'm
just do
telling
something
you,
regularly that you
I
can
got
stick
to.
with. Yeah. It's better to do, I would rather that somebody say worked out 15 minutes for 15 minutes a couple of times a week than not do anything. Like, because that's something they can manage in their routine. And I'm like the laziest person on the earth as far as exercise goes. So I have to work things into my routine. So when I go walking, I know that after I go walking, I get to eat. And I love to eat. So like, if I'm starting to get hungry, okay, I'll go and do my walk first and then I'll get to eat. So it's almost like I don't want it to be a reward, but it is kind of like the next thing that comes, right? So it's something I look forward to. And then gym workouts, maybe for some people, there's actually having a commitment with a friend as well. So I know if I don't turn up to my mate's garage, where we've been going for 2 years, he's going to be there waiting for me. And he knows if he knows that I'm turning up, so he's got to be there too. So that can be a really great way to keep that commitment going. But it's only 35, 40 minutes tops, including warm-ups, and that's just twice a week. So, and
I wish
can do some
had,
pretty
like,
amazing
to
shit
come
with my
by
body. Yeah.
and pick me up and say, let's go walking. But we look at each other, you really don't want to go? Nah, I really don't. And then we don't go.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would leave you. Now you hit me, tell me be quiet.
He's giving you the cold shout out. All right, let's do a couple more shout outs here because we've got a lot to catch up on. Okay.
No, I don't do any strength exercise.
Yeah, you're going to start soon now, aren't you, Jean?
I am.
Alrighty. Joanne, there's a question for you. So, did carnivores eat protein-sparing bread, in your opinion? I don't really know. Do you know much about protein-sparing? Is that that you're familiar with that, Geoffrey?
Mm-mm.
All right.
No,
Don't
no.
have a great answer.
Stay away
Someone
from
else in the
bread.
community. Yeah. I don't even know what that would be, but someone else might have an answer for that one. Beach bum, what's the best for indigestion? Trying to get off paralytic heartburn is awful. On so beef, butter, BBE, I forget what the other, beef, butter, and
Beef,
eggs,
butter,
Beef
and
butter,
bacon.
bacon. Beef,
bacon,
butter,
and
bacon,
eggs.
eggs only.
Eating, the
Yeah.
first thing is to do is to eat earlier, because I know gravity plays a big part.
And let me add this
No,
also.
you.
Drinking
Mm.
while you're eating, drinking shortly after you eat, I don't do. There's there's
An
some
hour to two.
I guess controversy or difference of opinions as to why you should or shouldn't drink before you eat. But what I found and what works for me is that I allow myself up to an hour before I eat without drinking, and then an hour after I eat. And what that does is it allows my stomach acids to remain as acidic as possible, so that it has an opportunity to grind up, churn, and digest my meat, before bedtime, and that works for me. So I found that when I drink, because I've always been a guzzler, um, and I diluted my acid, it would just take longer for my food to digest. And oftentimes I would find my food not being completely digested before I went to bed. And then once you leave that vertical position and go horizontal, you no longer have gravity working with you to keep the food going down. And that's, there's some other science behind it in terms of muscles and whatnot. But that's what happens to me. And I think that's probably the
I
best
think that's a
way I
good
could put it
thing.
in
One to
layman
2 hours
terms.
before you eat, 1 to 2 hours after you eat. And I was listening to you, but you said it beforehand. I know that, and I forgot which doctor was talking about this, but to not exercise right after. And I was, oh, we would eat, and I said, oh, come on, let's go for a walk. Let's walk this food down. But no, what you want to do at that time is allow your everything to go there and keep digesting the food. But if you start walking, now you have to take some energy to go for the walk, and it's not 100% in the breakdown of what you're eating. You using energy for other things. So the same way the lion eats, and then that joker go
Wait
and
a minute.
like and just
Stop,
fall.
stop.
I
We were
know,
watching a
I know.
documentary. We were watching a documentary last week about that. A lion had finished his meal, and the cub was so satiated, and you could see it walking, and all of a sudden it just fell over, and that was really funny to watch. He just ate
Yeah, he
till he
did.
was
He
stuffed and
yeah.
just fell over.
And just eat, like
He didn't.
within
Yeah,
15 minutes was taking a nap. He was doing this right here, just licking and sleep. Yeah, and just allowing the food to do what it needs to do.
yeah.
So that's another thing that you shouldn't do. So if you can incorporate those two things, I think that you would probably have a better success. And you have to have that cutoff as well. Intermittent fasting, once again, goes great, because you
Yeah.
have that one meal during that window or two meals during that window. And with that being said, you're not drinking prior to, your body is doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, because you never see a lion eat and then go over there to the water and drink. You see him eat and get somewhere and sit down.
And it also encouraged people. You got to be patient. I think a lot of people, because they've had health conditions for so long, they really want to see results like super fast, and they've heard other people get great results, and it can be easy to. That's a trap that you can fall into. I think you've just got to look at it in the long perspective, and that your body can take a considerable time to heal, and especially parts of your body where it's just collagen, it's tendons and things like that. They're all body tissues that have a very limited blood supply, so they take a long time for them to alter and heal. So that can also be part of it, just being patient as well. Thank you,
Yeah,
Anita,
we
for
eat
joining us.
what we wanted
Great to
for a
see you
long
here.
time and then want to be miraculously healed within 2 weeks. But you took years in putting in the wrong fuel source. So it is. I like to let people know, and I've heard people talk about this, and that's where I got it from. So you have your first 30 days. You know, a lot of times you'll hear, listen, just do this for 30 days. Because you're gonna feel better. And then, then you have your 60 days, you got your 90 days. Oh, I've been doing this for 6 months, then a year. And for every time you will feel, I believe, better and better. So I'm too tickled. We over 100 days. So what is it? 134? No, that's you.
On 136.
136. I'm 134.
Yeah, awesome. Laura just made pemmican. See, I don't know what is pemmican. We don't use that term here. 8 pounds of jerky.
I don't know what
God.
it is either.
That sounds good. It must be some sort of dried meat, because Pursuit of Bliss also mentioned that she's a pemmican kind of girl. I like it. I like that term. So Joanna Hina has, I'm suffering alopecia. Should I carnivore at a higher percentage? I mean, more towards carnivore as opposed to ketovore. I mean, I heard what Dr. Sean Baker's opinion was. Okay, you know what? Just do your own experiment. I think everybody's body is unique. It's a very complex system, the human body, and we're all at different stages of mental and physical evolution. So you can't lose anything by trying it out, right? I think that the evidence is clear that the more close you are to carnivore, that the less inflammation you're going to have. So you've got nothing to lose to try it, I think, and give it a good 30 to 60 days like we were just talking about. Pursuit of Bliss says a bit more about autophagy. Yeah, it happens regularly, more than we think, with or without extended fasting. That's the fasting mimicking that I was talking about with the intermittent fasting. And you gave up fasting when you went to carnivore. Yeah. There's a few people I've heard mention that, how it triggered disordered eating by actually doing the fasting, which I find interesting. So pemmican is dried meat and tallow and salt. Okay, thanks, Melissa. Appreciate that. Now I know. Didn't actually know that. It sounds very tasty. I think my kids would like that too.
Sound like
Robin
a jerky.
Heron.
That's a jerky. Right.
Yeah.
There you go, Robin.
Thanks for being here. Doing exercise while listening. Great.
She's out there walking. She is.
Yeah. It's, you know what? I would go walking every lunchtime, and I live in in an urban area, and there are so few people that are out there. I must be surrounded by probably a population of 5,000 in my small suburb. And I know that people are at work and stuff like that, but sometimes I can walk the entire track and not see a single person. So I think it's a missed opportunity. And if you can do it in the evening or lunchtime, if you can just find something that's regular, that becomes habitual, you'll get to the point where you can't not do it. So I really feel very uncomfortable if I don't do my regular gym session or I don't go for a walk. That's how it can get to the point, and you can really use that habit to work in your favor.
So I shouldn't say I have a treadmill upstairs.
If that's what works for you, that's it. So just find something that works for you, that you can stick with consistently and that you enjoy. That's the critical thing. Actually, I'll come back to Melissa. I'll just say a bit more about this. I'll get on a bit of a rant about enjoyment. You've got to do something that you enjoy doing. If you can't, it's very hard to sustain it. So, whatever it is, I'd rather, if you really enjoy walking, but you hate going to the gym, well, just walk. That's the thing you enjoy. That's the one that you'll be able to stick to. If you really dislike doing something, you're not going to be able to stick to that unless you manage to transform, like something happens that makes you feel better about it, and you have that associated with it. But enjoyment is a real key. So Melissa Janae Middleton has done open water swimming literally every day since spring. Good for you. Is it cold? Oh, and now it's getting chilly, so I get the cold water hermetic effect. Last year I swam until Thanksgiving. Great. That's awesome. Great to hear. Pursuit of Bliss, you've got to be responsible for you. Yeah, I think that was when you're talking about going together. If you do something with a partner, that's great. But you also need to be able to be okay with, if your partner's not there, that you'll still be able to do it yourself, for sure. Renee, No Insanity, hello. Thanks for joining us today. D. Lee says that Dr. Chafee says to try not to drink water during a meal, not 2 hours before a meal, not 2 hours after a meal. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be more conscious of that because sometimes I do get some reflux, which I'm nowhere near as bad as what I used to. But now that I think about it, maybe it was because I did have water not long before as well. So we've got through most of. So we're going to run for about another 5 minutes or so. If anyone's got any more questions. So I did have one more for you two, which is a little more off topic, but because you guys are tourists, like you like to go on cruises and stuff, what is your favorite cruise destination?
Well, we don't have a favorite destination anymore. We just like being on the ship. We pretty much hit all of the Caribbean islands. So, it's not about doing excursions or getting off. We just like being on the ship. We just like the atmosphere.
So listen, we have one the 20th of this month. Next week, my bad. Yeah. We have one for Thanksgiving. I think that's 7 or 8. Then we have one for his birthday. And then we have the Carnivore Cruise next year for our 20th anniversary. I wanted something different, not the cruise aspect, but I said, oh my God, we've met wonderful people in the carnivore community. So we have 50 rooms, half of them are gone now, but we have the on the Celebrity Reflection. We've never been on the Celebrity cruise line. It's the sister ship of Royal Caribbean because we loyal to Royal. And it is
August 16th.
August 16th through the 19th. It starts on a Friday, ends on a Monday. And we're going to have our anniversary and party with the carnivores. So it's open, and I tell people, you don't have to be a carnivore to go, but if you would like to, thank you. If you would like to I'm fun to hang out with. I don't know about everybody else. So what happens on the ship, stay on the ship. But just think, even content creators, look, you're going to be surrounded by so many carnivores. You get to interview them with the ocean background. Oh man, I'm telling you, you will, and you'll be upset if you don't do it. And on there, your gratuities are taken care of. You even have a drink package. Some people drink, some don't, but your sparkling water, all of that is included. Wi-Fi is included. I am issuing out through the travel $50 room credit per person. So he get 50, I get 50. And then we're going to have a little small event, a private event. And then
some special prizes.
And there's some special prizes and stuff like that we'll go over into. I'm telling you, you have to book the ticket by the 28th of this month. That's another win-win. So you book the ticket by the 28th, and I'll send you the information, and you can put it in the description of this video so somebody watch it on the replay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And then those that don't have it, actually, it's, if you know the bit.ly, the bit.ly, but you got to put that HPTT in front of it. Then it's /Carnivore Cruise. That's the link right there. And it's something else you're going to have. Something else. The room. I can't think of it because I was just thinking about the thing. But I am super, super excited. Just imagine, because we have a dinner time. So you can go and watch your shows and where everybody's just ordering meat. Do you know the impact we will make on that ship? They'll be talking about us forever. Yeah, come on, look, that's right. I know Lucy is on the cruise, honey. Lucy is on the cruise. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited. I am so hyped and geeked.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna we'll put a link to that. I'm trying to type this in for our moderator as well.
Come on, ketogenic woman, you better
tell you one thing about the cruise too, because we actually took an Alaskan cruise for her birthday back in July, this past July, and it was on our bucket list. We did it, but we don't like cold. We don't like cold, and so now now the rest of them are in the Caribbean. I mean, that's where we prefer to be, where it's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never been.
two
I've
our
never been on a
first two
cruise.
vaca- our first two
There you go.
vacations this year. The first one was Canada, which we loved. As a matter of fact, we met uh, a couple on the ship that lived in
Okay.
Canada, and we went to visit them. Yeah, so no, listen, we travel, honey. We sure did. We had a remarkable time, but at the same time, for me now, because we've done this so much, whether we fly to the destination, it just has to have that water, that ocean, and yeah, for it to really.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yes, that is. Hey,
Lis-
look at you.
yeah, I managed to get it together. All right, and one last, there's a lake near me, a courtyard where I live. I'm at the point where I go out every day. I love it. Have my own gym time too. Andrew Ruck as well. Well done. That's everything. That's everything you could possibly
Okay,
do there.
Pursuit of
Pursuit of
Bliss,
Bliss.
you got me. You
Good,
got me. I'm gonna
good
come
for
on and
you.
start talking about my. I'm going for a walk. At you going? You gotta
All
protect
right.
me. Somebody might try and get me.
All right. Listen, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. It's been an amazing turnout. You guys have been heaps of fun. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much to our moderators, Melissa in the background there, keeping everything running nice and
Yes.
smoothly for us as well. She's been absolutely awesome. So, if you got anything final that you want to leave people with before we wrap it up today, Browns?
As my wife always says, if you're not carnivore, give it 30 days. I mean, it's life changing. If you're on the fence, give it 30 days. You've committed to, you take medications, and of course they give you 30-day prescriptions. So just give this 30 days, and hopefully you won't have medications shortly thereafter, have to take them anymore. So that's our takeaway.
And I think for me, I like the fact I listen to different. This it's not. Yeah, we're all eating meat, but some are like a lion. But then when you introduce something, I like how you can pinpoint it. I feel now I'm so much more in control of my health than I was before. I just do. I feel like
You're in tune. Your body's in tune
Yeah,
with,
yes,
yeah.
and you
you're in
and
tune.
and I'm
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
I was big on that, like listening to my body. I'll go and I'll tell the doctor like what's going on. I'll listen to what they say, and then I make what I feel is the best decision for me. Like how he was saying, he went to the doctor and it was like, man, if you're gonna guess, I can guess. And yeah, so but at least you heard what they had to say, and then just be in tune with you. For some of the people that talked about, thank you, she better be on the cruise. She the one started the cruise. When you're
Thanks,
talking
Shayna.
about um, the acid reflux, well, because your food is limited, you can maneuver and manipulate and try and figure out. You can change a time. You cannot drink the water. So there are things that you can do versus trying to figure it out by still putting all the pollutants in. So I love this, and I know that I have no desire whatsoever to go back to my previous way of eating.
It's our lifestyle now. So we,
Yeah.
we no
Yeah,
longer call it a diet. It's our lifestyle.
yeah. Feels too good, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it
All right.
is. It's like, and thank you, Rod. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for answering my emails.
Yeah.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes.
You're very
So,
welcome.
and thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you so much.
Yes.
That was whatever message that was the link for the Carnivore Cruise. And so you can cut and paste that one. There you go. And come check out Hanging with the Browns. We normally post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, unless there's a live going over. But I did post earlier today. I try and keep that content out and going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You guys are
me
going
too.
great. All right, we'll wrap it up.
Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
everyone from all over the world. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
again on the live next week. Stay there, Browns.